Guys, if you're tuning in for the first time, this is For the Love. If you don't know how it works, please like, comment, and subscribe. That goes a very long way. This is a podcast about culture. We hear so many things throughout the week in the barbershop, and now we're broadcasting it out to the world. Today, we have a very special guest, and it's the first time that an episode is, I don't want to say sponsored, but it's brought to you by the good people at Stock Unlocked. A lot of people ask me how I learned how to invest, and that is the company that I used to learn. They're here today in the audience. We can't show them on camera, but that's a pretty big deal. To my left, I got the one and only Mr. Curse, one half of the Curses as the co-host of For the Love. That's going to stick.
I like that.
Next to him, we have Mr. I Hate Everything, RD Barber.
Hi, guys.
Walking contradiction. Right next to him, we have officially the first influencer ever. Like before social media, the first influence, Perez Hilton. Can we get a clap for that? And rounding it out, Mr. I'm funny on the mic now, Drix. I don't know what happened when he went to Mexico, but this man does not stutter no more.
Practice my jokes.
Dude,
Practice
brown
my
juice.
jokes.
It's the brown juice.
It's the brown juice?
Yeah.
Hey,
Cup full of brown juice. I like it. It's our sponsors.
Finally, the clown school is
Ultimate
paying us,
sponsor.
bro.
Thank you for being on here, Perez.
Yeah,
Thanks for
having us.
having me. This is a big production. You have an audience, multiple cameras, multiple microphones. I like showing up in spaces where people are prepared, professional, and ready to bring it.
Did he sell you on this whole or did he sell it like way smaller? Did he tell you how grandiose it was, or did he?
I
Make
had
it
no
seem
idea
like
what to
you were just
expect.
going to come talk just to Sosa in like the back room?
I thought it would be in the back room.
Yeah.
Two iPhones
private,
recording.
Yeah.
Oh man, well,
Happy to surprise you.
yeah.
Happy to have you here.
I also say that every episode it kind of grows and grows and grows. We kind of started I wouldn't say small, but every episode there's a little like another camera or another light. Or this episode we're trying something different with the lighting, so hopefully we look not as red as last episode.
I didn't look red.
Man, I was
You
looking
look red as hell.
I was looking a little pink last episode, guys. But anyways, so you want to jump in? I know you did say the first influencer, but I think he goes by the original influencer. So do you want to
Both
kind
work the
of
same.
elaborate on that a little more? Like, how would you technically describe the original influencer?
I mean, I was an influencer before that word even existed.
The OG.
So for the people that don't know, for like
Sure.
the newbies that might not be aware of like a Perez Hilton, maybe just give them like a quick little elevator pitch per se.
Sure. Before there was social media, there was me on a little blog making it happen on my own. And, I'm trying to think of anybody that could have really taken that title. Perez Hilton, actually, the person whom I named myself after, falsely likes to claim that she's the first influencer, but she's not. Let me break it down for you.
Please do.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
Yes, sir.
Perez Hilton, whom I really like, was born an heiress into this iconic family. Then she made the decision, which not all heiresses or people from those Tony families do. She made the decision to enter the socialite world. So she chose to become a socialite. Then she chose to work in television. Her path was a lot more traditional, whereas mine really was uncharted. Like nobody, to my knowledge, was able to achieve recognition, success, known worldwide through the internet, through social media before me. And now I've been doing what I do for a long ass time. So one of the reasons I was excited also to be on here is I feel like now one of my main missions isn't just to entertain people, which that is one of my main missions, but not the main one. I really want to hopefully inspire people, warn them about things, and let them take what they want from it. Because even if you do warn people, though, like my children, you can warn them about this, warn them about that. They're still going to do whatever they want. But hopefully inspiring probably can serve folks more than, oh, I made all these mistakes. Well, they might make the same mistakes too, and nothing's going to stop them from doing what their heart is set on. But yeah, I started in 2004, nearly 20 years ago. There was no TikTok then. There was no Instagram. There was no YouTube. There was nothing. I started on this website called Blogspot or Blogger, and it was just a hobby. If I would have been born 10 years later, YouTube might have been my thing. If I would have been born, whenever, another thing might have been my thing. But the key was, and people might be surprised by this, if it were not for traditional media, if I didn't get that cosign, I wouldn't be where I am today, because that made me bigger than any one thing, than any genre. I became bigger than my blog. Like, for example, TikTok is all the rage these days, but you might have 10 million followers on TikTok, and 99% of Americans have no idea who you are. So how valuable is that? You need to be able to have name recognition and really develop a following that will follow you across platforms and be loyal.
And I've seen that when you repost a shop, we see people that follow us from your social media. And speaking of mistakes and names, did you have any problems with your name initially, like using that name?
When I filed to trademark my name and all of the things that come with that, Paris did pose an objection, but she let that go.
Okay.
She's very smart and savvy, It
built her brand.
Well, she used me and I used her back. It was a mutually parasitic relationship.
All right. Well, nice.
How did the whole Paris came from, or where did it come from? Because it's a last name, right?
Perez.
Yeah.
Perez, I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. I just, at first I was using my real name. And then I got fired from a job because of my blog. And I said to myself, maybe I should be a little bit more incognito. So I just wanted to come up with an alter ego. And, since I am surrounded by a lot of Latinos, it does sadden me a bit thinking that, my real name at that time, 20 years ago, limited me probably. And it definitely did help that I had a much more, quote, palatable name for folks to say, because my real name is Mario Lavandeira, and people, Americans speak, like I gave my children very Spanish names. My youngest is named Maite, and English speakers can't say Maite. Like, it's such a struggle for them to say Maite. Eventually they get it, but it takes them a while.
Right.
But yeah, I just came up with this alter ego. I thought it'd be just a smart move to distance myself a little bit. And I just loved the name. It just came to me, and I loved it because it instantly made you scratch your head. Like branding. I never went to school for business, but I think I've always been a business-minded, savvy person, or as they say in Spanish, I've always had chispas. I've always drawn outside the circle or outside the box, whatever you want to call it.
And were you living in Los Angeles at the time when you started this blog?
Yeah, I was living in LA at the time.
And did the name kind of help you be like anonymous and go places without? And when did you first start to reveal your face? Was that something you did right out the gate, or is that something you did a little later on? When technology started to allow it?
A lot has changed since I started in 2004, but a lot has also remained the same. And one of the things that has not changed is the speed at which you can achieve success.
You don't think that has changed with social media?
The speed at which you can achieve success has
overnight?
not changed.
Overnight
yeah,
still.
exactly.
Overnight, yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, that also remained, that also was the case back then. Like it blew my mind that, within a span of months, I went from unknown to on TV. And they were doing segments on me, and newspapers were writing about me all in 6 months' time. And because it all happened so fast, I've always been savvy, but like I said, I'm not the business person. So I never sat down and did a 5-year plan, or I never I always went with my gut and my instinct. I never really premeditated things. So eventually I did, I want an alter ego. Let me chill. I was also getting some death threats at the time. But
No
then
way.
that faded away real quick. I'm like, oh, screw it. Like, because really quickly I got an email from a TV show saying they wanted to put me on TV.
Like weekly or segmented?
Not
like,
weekly, but like
all
I
the time?
started in September of 2004. And by February of 2005, this TV show, which I've now outlasted, the show's not on the air anymore. It was called The Insider, the companion show to Entertainment Tonight. They said, hey, we're doing this segment on Hollywood's most hated websites. Would you like to be in it? And I just instantly said yes. So then, my identity was revealed. It was crazy because at the time, A, was shocked that people were actually reading what I was writing. And B, I didn't think I was the most hated. But if you were going to put me on a list, I'd rather be number 1 than number 2, the most hated.
I like that. Strive for first. I always like, if you're not first, you're last.
What else is different from 2004 to today? Like, how do you run your business?
I mean, everything is different, but a lot has changed. A lot has remained the same. I mean, what is the same? Shocking, crazy, all of the, like, we as animals are curious creatures. We rubberneck. We like to see and know everything that's going on. So I don't do a lot of things that I used to do back in the day. Like, for example, let's say, Rihanna naked photos were to leak. Old Perez, oh my God, look at these Rihanna naked photos. New me would not post those. But I guarantee you, if Rihanna naked photos leaked, half or more of the people in this room right now would be searching Twitter trying to find them.
Would you send out the link privately to your friends or
can you
your
just share
barber?
now? Source?
Yeah, friends or your barber. If they were to leak.
Can we get a group chat going that you guys give us the goods
Listen,
like
I'm all
that?
about keeping it real. If Rihanna naked photos leaked, I probably would be sharing the images with my friends. I'm not gonna lie. Why lie? I don't lie.
Okay.
But I wouldn't. But I've learned
wouldn't
my
publicize
lesson.
them.
I've learned my lesson. I would share that privately amongst my friends, but I wouldn't post that anywhere.
Is it still sexy though if it's those pregnancy pictures? Because that's all the rage right now, right?
That's kind of
Rihanna's
weird,
pregnant.
though.
Yeah, I mean that was
No, she's not.
I mean, I thought when
She is
I watched
pregnant, yeah.
I watched yesterday, and I was like, maybe that's a little baby weight, and then I was like, no, I think she's pregnant. And there started to be this argument between me and my fiance, and we argued for about the whole performance. And then at the end, when she told the whole thing that she was pregnant, I was like, I told you. And I felt like an asshole because originally I was kind of like,
Jose was the first one because we were watching the Super Bowl here yesterday. Jose was like, "No way!" I was like, "What happened? Is she pregnant?" Everybody was like,
yeah, you're just looking at the whole.
which it leads me
She
to
did one of these with her belly, like only pregnant women do, and I'm like, "Yep, I saw that twice."
Hey, but
Which
for a
is-
pregnant woman, she killed it though.
Yeah, I give it to her.
She
Did you
sure
know that
did.
she was pregnant ahead of time?
Not ahead of time, but I thought it right away. Yeah.
What did you think of the performance? Was it A-okay or meh? Mid?
Yep,
You
me
know-
too.
Tell
us-
Me too. Me too.
I love Rihanna. It's also human and very normal to compare. Comparisons are a way for us to form opinions.
Mhm.
And obviously, I'm going to compare Rihanna with one of her peers. If Beyonce was pregnant and performing at the Super Bowl, she would have still given 110%. I feel like, Rihanna was a little tired, a little rusty, a little sleepy, not giving me all
I will
the
say
energy.
this, though.
Her ASL sign language interpreter gave more than Rihanna.
Yo, we were lit because of that girl.
I know. But
She was on a platform 20 feet in the air.
yeah, that was awesome. But I still love Rihanna, and it's like she didn't do a bad job.
I think if she would have had a guest performance, if she would have brought
I
out,
liked it. I thought that was badass that she didn't have a guest performer. I just
thought
wanted
so
her to
too.
fucking wake the fuck up. Give me a little bit more.
what we thought would have put this cemented as the best ever, a gender reveal at the Super Bowl commercial.
Imagine and not a big
Imagine
thing. Not a big
what
thing. Not a big thing.
Just the color of the screen changed.
Yeah,
It's
it's like a little, a fade in,
Yeah.
fade out. I
Just
got you.
blue smoke,
something.
pink smoke, something.
I've been over the top. I don't
So
like
you
that.
think it wasn't the performance, it was just the energy.
I appreciated that it was very cohesive, but usually, like, Katy Perry or Lady Gaga, like they'll do like very distinct segments. And it was all just red with Rihanna. Like the outfit change was from red to red. She could have like put on a black puffy thing at the end and at least had like a very different look. Like it all seamlessly blended in, but I would have liked some more individual moments. But it was still good. Like I'm just being nitpicky. Like with, when I think of J-Lo, when I think of Shakira, the two of them doing theirs, like Shakira gave us fucking guitar. She gave us fucking belly dancing.
Don't forget the tongue. Don't forget the tongue.
Yeah, she gave the tongue, her culture. J-Lo gave us the stripper pole moment and everything. It's like with Rihanna, it just felt like one long song. And I just wanted more energy and more moments. The only like exceptional moment was that last moment where she was like super high. I'm like, oh my God, wow. That was
scared
cool.
for her to zoom out. Yeah.
That was a great moment. I just wanted more moments and more energy.
Weren't you the
She's
one?
pregnant,
Jose was like, bro, Kanye's about to walk in. Watch. Kanye's going to walk in.
No way.
I wanted Kanye out. I wanted Kanye out.
There's no way.
Jay-Z. Watch.
Well,
Jay-Z.
would have been good.
Nope.
I thought I saw some people in the back for a second. I was
all
like,
right, I'm going to bring it. I like to bring it. This might be my controversial hot take
bring
opinion.
Bring it.
Let's go, baby.
We're already canceled.
I've been canceled so many times. I can't be canceled.
uncancelable.
I think the first song set the tone for the performance, and it was the worst first song to open with. Bitch Better Have My Money. Like you're performing at the Super Bowl. Like when Lady Gaga performed at the Super Bowl, she understood the assignment. You're like, yes, you're Lady Gaga, you're shocking, you're crazy, you push the envelope, but the Super Bowl is not the place or space for that. And even other, like Pour It Up. I love Pour It Up. Did she need to be performing a stripper song at the Super Bowl? I don't think so. And I'm not a prude, but I was watching it with my kids and my mom was like, oh, like my mom hated it. My mom hated it. I didn't hate it, but I almost wish like, I wish you would have understood the assignment.
She's such a big star that it could have more impact.
That's for your concert. That's not for the Super Bowl. You
should have seen Jose though.
She had so many songs from her catalog that she could have chosen. Like, please don't stop the music. She didn't do that one. Like so many bops, so many great songs, and the song selection, and just I wouldn't say I was disappointed, but I definitely would have loved more and different.
Top three
what?
Performance in the Super Bowl?
Oh, number one, Beyonce by far.
Better than Prince?
Yeah.
Than Michael?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Okay.
Michael isn't even my top three.
What?
Because Michael lip synced his whole thing.
Didn't Rihanna lip sync this one?
No, but she did sing a lot to track. Yeah. Whereas Beyonce, I think she had very minimal track. Because Beyonce, I remember, was coming off of the Barack Obama inauguration controversy where she did lip sync at the Obama inauguration.
So she made it a point.
And she had a point to prove I'm singing 100% live at the Super Bowl.
Damn.
And she brought out Destiny's Child. It was amazing. So I would say
she did
my
that.
top three, I don't know, I love my divas. I would say, Beyonce, Katy Perry, number two, and then maybe Lady Gaga, number three. I love Madonna, but Madonna lip synced. U2 is also amazing. I love U2. And then Prince,
only have
of course.
three.
And Prince was rain. It freaking rained during Purple Rain. That was like a God moment.
Switching gears a little bit, the Super Bowl's coming to Vegas. You just moved to Vegas, and a lot of people are curious. Why did you move to Vegas?
I've been wanting to move to Vegas for many years. The life is I love that your podcast is about culture, and another way of saying it is it's just about life, right? Life and culture, same thing, synonymous. I love being alive. I love living, and I love the journey that this is. And I love embracing who I am along the way. When I was younger, I was totally fearless. And now as you get older, you get a little bit more, not fearful, but just more practical, rational, especially if you have children. But yeah, in the summer of 2018, a while ago now, I was this special guest host for Chippendales. So I was here for 2 months, and I got to experience Vegas as a local. And I fell in love with the city and all that it offered. I grew up in Miami, which is actually a lot like Los Angeles. And I did not love growing up in Miami, nor did I ever really love living in Los Angeles, for the main reason that it's just ginormous. It's like traffic. It takes you forever to get from one place to another. And what I love about Vegas, I love about New York. There's a reason I had been drawn to both of those two places in my life. I went to school in New York City. I studied drama at NYU, and life has brought me to Vegas. And people might think it's weird that I compare Vegas to New York, but well, you're from New York, right? Like, to me, there's so many similarities. Like, there's so much to do.
There is.
To me, the thought of moving to a place like Palm Springs, which a lot of my older gay friends have done, I could never. So boring. I need constant stimulation.
But you're gay?
Yeah. I need, I find calm in the eye of a hurricane. When there is just so much going around me, like, that's peaceful to me. Like, if I was just like in the middle of nowhere, like Montana, I just could not do that.
I think Vegas is unique that you're 15 miles from the madness and you drive back home, like where this barbershop is, and it's like, do I even live in Vegas? It's like two different worlds.
Over the weekend, I went to one of my best friends' house, and it took me 6 minutes to get to his house in the evening. Like, that's just unheard of in LA.
And aside from that, I mean, you can step into the strip, go grab a fine dining spot that you can eat in New York. You can eat any of these restaurants that they have in New York. You can eat them here. You could go shopping for a designer. Pretty much, Vegas has it all. And we also have Red Rock. We have a bunch of hiking if you want to go outdoors.
But I love that because it's less congested. There's not as much traffic as Los Angeles. And because it is a smaller city, people are more social, which reminds me of New York City. In LA, people are not as social because they're just stuck in their cars. It takes forever. Like, I would not be as inclined to say yes to hang out with friends or do things. Like, I used to live, very central LA, and a lot of my friends live in the Valley. And I was like, I'm driving to the Valley or whatever.
I'll never see you.
Yeah.
How about to Orange County, Newport?
Oh, no, I would never do that.
Yeah.
Nah, 45-minute drive.
I love it. It's part of the culture in Vegas to be social, to meet up with people. And there's like a real sense of community here. It's like big, what's the expression? Big city, small town. I feel like that's what Vegas is.
I think go ahead.
I love when people from California come to Vegas because that's the first thing that they say. People from Vegas say, bro, I got to go to you. It's like 10 minutes from me. 15
That's
minutes.
far.
If you say that you leave 20 minutes away from whatever,
nothing.
they're like,
That's nothing.
we're
It's a
going
hop,
to
skip, and a jump.
reschedule.
Yeah.
We're going to reschedule.
I might make
I think
it.
also about Vegas, so it's more transient. Like, everyone, like, not a lot of like locals are more like, people are like gravitate here either for work or business, or like similar to New York, like either school or, a career might have brought you to New York. It's more transient culture. Like, everyone's kind of from somewhere else. So they kind of bring a little bit of their own personal life with them. But as you were in LA and your fame was growing, did you ever start to find it harder to live and maneuver? And coming to Vegas, I feel like as a celebrity, it's a little easier to maneuver. I think we're a little more celebrity jaded out here.
Well, it's another reason I love Vegas. And I love New York too. After I became Perez, there for about 3 years, I moved back to New York City when I had my son, because I said to myself, this is like my last hurrah. It's my last chance that I could come and do New York for a while before I have to like settle down somewhere. Or so I thought. Then you don't really have to ever settle down. If you want to, you can move again or whatever. Nothing in life is ever permanent except for, the fact that you're changing every day.
I want to live in New York.
But, in New York, when I was living there from 2013 through 2016, I felt very welcome and accepted because New York City has this history of the gossip from, Cindy Adams to Liz Smith to Michael Musto and so on and so forth. And they were invited in. Whereas in Los Angeles, the gossip, the role that I played, you were kept at arm's length. You were never really welcome inside. And in Vegas, I've always felt welcome and appreciated. And obviously, you're going to be drawn to a place where you feel welcome and appreciated, respected. And in Vegas, they also have that same culture and history. Now it might be John Katsalamidis. Before that, it was that guy with the Norm Clark for the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Robin Leach lived here for a long time and was a man about town. This personality, this public figure type that I am exists here and is welcome. And ultimately, I want to be someplace where I really feel welcome. And I feel so welcome in Vegas.
Do you introduce yourself as Perez or Mario?
Always Perez when I'm at work functions.
Okay. I met you as Mario.
For LA, what made you feel like you couldn't really talk about certain things, or made you feel like you had held back from gossiping on certain topics?
Oh, I never held back.
It's just that I get an email after, and
It was just like a perfect example. I once showed up to a party that I was invited to at the Chateau Marmont. Back when I was a client of this one agency. It was an agency after party for the MTV Movie Awards, and my agency invited me. And somebody from the Chateau Marmont said, "You can't be here." I'm like, wait,
No
what are you
way.
talking about? I was invited. Like, I'm a client of this agency. They're like, "You have to leave." And they literally kicked me out, and I did nothing. I had never even been to the Chateau Marmont before. They just did not want me because of who I am. I don't think that would ever happen in Vegas. But yeah, like that was just one example.
It's a red flag.
Yeah, like,
I wouldn't want to be there either.
but I don't care at the end of the day. Now,
so what is this? What is this party called? The what?
the Chateau Marmont, well, it's also changed a lot now. It's gone through different ownership, and who cares?
This is Hollywood stuff, though, right?
Yeah. Just, the Chateau is an iconic hotel in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Was that the most like when you went behind the curtain of fame and then you got to see Hollywood? That's like the most shocking thing that you were like, man, these people are cliquey. Like people would be
Oh no,
closer
that's not shocking. That's expected.
expected.
Yeah.
That blatant though?
Yeah, I mean, it's like high school.
It kind of is. It's like you notice who doesn't really want you to be there and who does, right?
Well, and as I've gotten older, my priorities change. And, everything changes as you get older and you have children. When I was living in New York from 2013 through 2016, one of the things I loved about it is I love doing things. Like I love being active. So I would go see all the Broadway shows, every single one. And now that I live in Vegas, I love that I can go and be social and enjoy a show. And a Vegas show is 75 minutes versus a 3-hour show in New York City. So I can go out, do my thing, maybe even do dinner too, and not have a 6-hour outing because I've got 3 young children.
Do you feel like having the kids has changed you?
Oh my God, in so many ways. Yeah, for the better and for the worse. Let's talk about the bad.
Okay, let's start with
going to
that.
jump in though. That he has 3 kids as a single father.
Yeah.
Wow, like that's juggling.
What are you trying to say though?
I mean, that's a juggle, man. I give him like a mad respect. I was going to my next question after you're done, but you can go ahead.
Always interrupted me.
I know, but go ahead.
Let me
And then I
go,
got this
man.
question. I go.
I just wanted to give the man his props for being a great father.
Do it. I
Like
love
we
it,
see
yeah.
that on social media.
I know. You rarely ever see celebrities put their kids on the media anymore
No.
either.
The testament is how Mario Jr. is around you, and he loves being around you, and that's the true testament of being a great parent, a great father, because your kids really want to be around you. So that's one of the things that I applaud, and I want to know, how is that managing that here in Vegas? Because I'm assuming the support system is not the same as California, and now the culture is also different because the beauty of Vegas is that even though the culture's not here, we can create it and we can grow it, right? So now you can still give them that culture, but they're like being part of it, being born, right? So how's managing 3 kids as a single father?
Well, thankfully, my mother is a huge help. She, like right now, is taking care of the kids and she lives with me. I could do it without her, but it would be a much sadder life for us all. So I have to give props to my mom and so thankful for her. But how do I do it? You just do it. I'm so lucky that I get to work from home. So I'm around all the time when they're home. And, I wake up really early. And you just prioritize what matters. So like I wake up, I go to the gym before they wake up. So I wake up at 5:30, sometimes at 5 a.m., get my workout in, take them to school, do my work. I don't get much sleep. That's probably the main thing. I don't sleep enough, but you got to do it all. I'll sleep when I'm dead,
Like that.
That's the saying. I say that one a lot too.
Which one's your favorite child?
I don't have a favorite child.
Almost had you.
I really don't. I love I really love all of my kids, and they're all so different. And thankfully, none of them are a problem child yet. There might be, like, if but I don't think so. I know all my kids are going to be amazing. However, because I like to be honest, I did have 3 kids because I'm also practical. I'm like, I might have 2 kids and one might be a total mess. But if I have 3,
You're playing the law of
then
averages.
it's better odds that, okay, one might be a total mess, one might just be very average, and then one will be exceptional.
And take care of me. Yeah, that's
No, they're all going to take care of me. I program them. I already tell them when they're, well, you model, you model behavior. So my kids see me taking exceptional care of my mother, and she lives with me, and she doesn't work, and she hasn't worked in almost the 20 years that I've been Perez, and I've been supporting her. So, my kids, I tell them, when you're all older, you have to have either a guest house for me or a bedroom in your house. And you're gonna wipe my butt if I can't wipe my own butt. None of this like home for me, or you're gonna be my caregivers. So,
As a father, you seeing your kids grow right behind you, do you feel, or do any of your kids show interest in being an influencer? I don't want to call it influencer either. It's a big idol in the media.
I purposefully never have those kinds of conversations with my kids. Like, I never ask them, so what do you think you want to be when you grow up? Because that's just A, unnecessary pressure. B, you don't have to know. Even when you're in college, you don't even have to know.
Dang,
And
that's right.
C, I don't care, because I go, or I circumvent that by telling them, I'll love you always and support you, ... no matter what, except if you're lazy. I will not support or tolerate laziness. So that's why every day when I drive them to school, we go over our family credo, our mantra, the 8 most important things in life. And
Can we hear that?
Of course, yeah. Number 1, some people might think this is controversial too, but children are like dogs. You have to train them.
I dig that.
I agree.
Thank
So
you.
the
Thank
number
you.
1 most important thing in life for my family is family. Number 2 is work very hard. And if they don't say very, it's not right. So you have to work very hard. God, I'm having to translate because we do it in Spanish. Number 3 is listen. Number 4 is don't lie. Number 5 is be healthy. Number 6 is gratitude. Number 7 is have fun. And number 8 is breathe. And then I give them examples of different ways that you could apply each one of these 8 things, like breathe, like just take a moment, or tomorrow will be better, or literally just breathe because you're freaking out right now.
I think breathe is pretty important to everybody.
People forget. I do the same thing with my kids. We do like positive affirmations every day. When my daughter goes to school, she has to tell me I'm beautiful, strong, and confident. I'm like, but do you mean it? She's like, yeah, look. And she goes through convincing me that she means it. Same thing when they grow up. Like the first thing my kids say is they want to be happy. I'm like, as long as you're happy, it doesn't matter. And you try.
Well, I can't say that. I don't want happy and lazy.
No. That's implied though. for
Happy
us.
and lazy?
I agree with you on that one.
Like, oh God, this might come across, I don't care if it comes across the wrong way. Like, you can be, like, if my daughter or son wanted to be a barista, okay, great, fine, whatever. But I don't want you to just be a barista. I want you to be creating new drinks. Like, I want you to be like the best barista
best
ever
that you can be. Yeah.
that it will get you on the news because you're like, wow, you're impressing it. Like, oh my God, now all of a sudden, you're opening your own coffee shop because you were such a good barista or whatever. Like, I just that's what I want for my kids. Like, just
Full commitment.
I want them happiness, but I just know that for me, I've learned the hard way. Like and people might disagree with me, but I truly believe that hard work is everything. Like, the harder you work at things, the more results you'll get. Not even just with work, or with your fitness, with your relationships, with your friendships. The more effort you put into things, the more you focus your energy, the more you get back on that.
Even
I-
before, like you were jumping on the blog, were you doing like juggling like a second job or two jobs at the same time, and then doing the blog on the side, or and if you were, like, what kind of jobs were you just doing? Like,
Well, I had a regularish job. I was working at a gay men's magazine as the senior editor
okay,
when I first.
so it was always
started.
kind of in the journalism realm in a sense,
Yeah, because I failed as an actor.
but there was no ever like a waiter or any like
No,
bartender
I was
side
always
hustle
too
or anything.
practical for that.
Yeah,
I
you-
graduated from NYU with an acting degree, but I never became a bartender or waiter. I always needed like a cushion, like.
And I'm sure you're.
But even the fact that I went to college for acting, like, I pat myself on the back because that was fucking crazy. Given my upbringing and my circumstances, like, I was really brainwashed from a young age to fit a mold and be a certain way. And I never.
What was that mold?
Like, I knew with every fiber of my being that I would not be happy being that person. You know, I am from Miami, the son of two Cuban immigrants, and I was born in 78, and Miami in the 80s and mid 90s when I was living there was extremely homogeneous. It has diversified a lot over the last 20 years or so. Like, you know, it first started happening in Miami in the 80s and 90s. In my world, it was just Cuban people. Then in the 90s, a lot of Venezuelans moved there. And now people from all over Latin and South Central America are living in Miami, and other people as well. But I went to this all-boy Jesuit school, and it was even more homogeneous. It was like all Cubans, and
What is Jesuit?
That's
it's
the
like a
Pope.
Catholic. They're priests.
Oh, okay.
Jesuit.
The current Pope is a Jesuit. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If you, like, my mom always told me, like, she told me what she wanted me to be and what I needed to be. And there were like expectations of these kids. Like, if you weren't a lawyer or a doctor or an engineer or a politician, then you were a failure. Because that's what my school bred. It was like lawyers, doctors, engineers, politicians. Like, even, and I just, also just being gay and knowing that I was not accepted in my school and in my community, that might have even fueled my desire to
Be different.
be even more different. Is to, like, if I wasn't gay, I might have been the doctor or the lawyer or the engineer or whatever. But yeah, if I was a straight guy in Miami in the 80s, this is how unaccepting I think it was. Like, even if I was a heterosexual dude and I said, you know, I'm passionate about sculpture. I want to be a sculptor, Mom. My mom would have laughed at me. Like, fuck no. I worked too hard to send you to that Jesuit school for you to be a fucking sculptor. What the fuck?
It's
No.
doctor. You said it wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Artiste.
Exactly.
My father has a doctorate in biochemistry, so when he found out I'm being a barber, it was not very happy. I can relate. And I went to a Catholic school growing up.
That's why I was laughing, because when Jose said to his dad, "Hey, Dad,
I didn't say it though. I just let him find out.
did you go to like a theater class or to like a theater club or something, or how did
I
you
did
get
in
to
high
NYU?
school, yeah.
And then so like when you got to LA and you're doing the gossip thing, how did you start to find your resources? Was it kind of like that Instagram page, like Overheard in LA, where you're just like at a bar and you just
We
were
don't
like,
talk about the competition.
I know, I'm just saying, was
I
it
don't
kind
even
of
know
like
if they're
you're
still around.
I'm
sure
like,
they are.
The ear to the
No,
street, or did you have
I
like,
was
did you actually
living
have
in-
like little moles?
I was living in LA for about 2 years before I started. So a lot of my friends just worked
Were,
in,
like,
the
in the
industry.
industry? Okay.
So I wouldn't say it was easy, but information just started coming my way, especially because I started before there was even a TMZ. You know, I had no competition. Now I have so much competition, but
blue
I
watermark.
also still don't have any competition because nobody has me.
The person
You're
is
a
the
brand.
it factor, the things that you cannot change or teach or like, build up, right? It's either you have it or you don't.
Well, and this, listen, I'm a big gay and I am cheesy. I love cheese. I'm cheesy. I'm campy. I like to quote musical theater, but when I speak to young people or old people, I quote one of my favorite musicals, the show Gypsy. There's this song in Gypsy that goes, "You got to get a gimmick if you want to get ahead." And ain't that the truth? Like me being Perez Hilton, but heterosexual men, a lot of them are convinced that ideas are special. And I disagree.
People.
People are special. Absolutely. Right now, I could come up with a brilliant idea that nobody has ever thought of. And also, right now, this very second, somebody in Australia on the other side of the planet, by some freak nature of chance, might have come up with the same exact idea. But that person and we're both going to execute the same idea that has never been done before in completely different ways. So what does that tell you? The idea is not special. What you bring to the idea, your execution, that is what is special. So when anybody can find what is special inside of them and share it with the world, that is when success comes to them and they can really thrive and flourish.
We have a saying here, and I'm going to bring in RD for this one, where it goes along with that. And people say power is knowledge, but what's the correct form that we say, RD?
Well, we say a lot of things.
But the power, you have one job.
Yeah, but we
But
say a lot of things.
execution.
So what we always say when we're doing classes is that we tend to compare. I say, what is the difference between a rich man and a poor man? Many people would say, oh, money and this. And it's really information, because information changes execution. That's what we always say.
And I want to kind of keep it on when you speak to the youth. And I think this is a topic that's very important. And I want people to have the impact, right? So you came from a family that wasn't accepting of you being gay. How was that coming out? And where do you find the courage to tell your mom? Because I feel like your mom's your best friend from like the little bit that I see. How did that go about? I feel like that's a very important. I don't know if you said this publicly, but
I talked about it in my memoir that came out in 2020. If anybody wants to buy it, PerezHiltonBook.com.
insert link right here.
Yeah.
I also narrated
go
the
buy it.
audio version. I love my sister, but she outed me to my mom. And I also remember the conversation. I do believe you can teach an old dog new tricks. My mom has evolved and grown, matured, and become much more loving and accepting over the years. I remember, and I'm grateful that she said what she said, but now looking back on it, it's a little cringe, and she's a much different person now. So when we did have the conversation and I confirmed it to her, she said to me, you know what? You're my son, and I love you no matter what. ... Because you're my son and I have to love you. But
It was still not what you expected.
no, she could, there at the time, and before that, I knew people who were rechazados, who were, what's the word? Abandoned by their families because they're gay. Rejected, yeah, who just weren't accepted. So, I was always accepted by my mother, but I think she had a lot of fear, a lot of just not knowing or understanding. AIDS was still, there weren't all the medications that there are now for people who it's a very manageable disease if you take your medication. So that was a concern for her. Maybe not having grandchildren was also a concern for her. And now she's my best friend.
The way the life turns.
I love that story. That's a great story.
Nice. Now let's switch a little gears. We prepared a little segment. The title is tentatively called "Love Letters with Perez," and we're gonna say names or things, and we want you to, like you've been, be honest and tell us what you think about it.
All right.
Are you ready? Do you need any alcohol?
No, I'm good.
All right. I'm gonna start it off, and we'll take turns. Okay. So I want you guys to think. You ready?
Yeah.
Megan Fox.
Try hard.
Okay.
Not die hard, try hard.
Try hard.
All right. What you got?
Favorite Vegas or ideal Vegas residency.
Oh, I just said this the other day, so I'll just repeat it. I just said it yesterday.
I saw
For
it.
me, I would say Gloria Estefan, Kylie Minogue, or Dolly Parton, or all three, because I love all three.
Have you been to Dolly World?
I've not been to
Gotta go.
Dollywood.
You gotta go. Got Dollywood. Go ahead.
I'd rather go to Dolly World than Disney World.
Any word, right?
Anything, yeah.
Andrew Tate.
Scammer.
Scammer.
Next. Alexis,
Joe-
you look like you want to jump in here.
Joe Rogan. Really quick before.
Joe Rogan. Howard Stern.
Okay.
Meaning, he's not groundbreaking. There's nothing new or different. It's like there's a reason and a season. And Howard Stern is an icon. He's not as
Paved the way.
relevant as he used to be.
Pave the way.
Yeah, he's not as relevant as he used to be, but he's still an icon. And the same thing will happen with Joe Rogan. His season will fade. And the same thing also happens with social media. Like MySpace went away. Snapchat was very popular for a while, and now it's not. YouTube was very popular for a while. It's still around, but it's not as hot. TikTok is popping now, but it won't be forever. Actually, it's already started to decline. TikTok has.
A lot.
Yeah. I read an article about that. That's why they're really pushing people going live on TikTok to try to get
Bring that
users
back.
watching. So, that's like with me too. It's like really for myself as a observer of pop culture, like watching my career and the ebbs and flows and the highs and lows and has been fascinating for me. And while I may not have, let's say, 10 million followers on Instagram, people all over the world know who I am. And I'm
Still
an icon.
Still relevant, yes. We got your biggest fan here about to throw one at you. Make it good.
Hailey Bieber.
Hailey Bieber. Married right.
Yeah, she did. She sure did.
I've always had a dream of being a kept woman. I'm not even joking. Like I would love me a sugar daddy, like to marry a billionaire. That's the dream. Ain't nothing wrong with setting that goal.
Oh yeah, any sugar mamas, hit me up. Really quick, I just want to make a little side note. When I was in middle school, what was the main website we weren't allowed to go on, but we all went on? PerezHilton.com.
Aw, thank
Yeah.
you.
Insert
Yeah.
website here.
Insert website here.
Mhm.
Muscles or dad bod?
Muscles.
Okay.
Gay men are very shallow.
All right. All right.
Gossip you slept on
Sorry,
and never
RD.
told anybody about.
Ooh.
A lot. I can keep my secrets.
So is that also a key factor in gossip is
Oh,
knowing
yeah.
when to release the goods and
Absolutely.
and also fact checking. We have a fact checker over here, barely works. But do you have a lot of fact checkers on your side, or who do you trust to fact check?
Well, that's also a thing, like consideration. Like there are now a lot of websites or social media accounts that will put up blind items or just uncorroborated information. I won't do that. Like I need to know something is true because I really take what I do seriously. I work hard at it. I still work so hard all these years later, almost 20 years later, I'm still busting my butt.
Last one. Biggest achievement.
My kids and being able to provide for my family.
Nothing in 08?
No hesitation on that one either.
Yeah, that was good.
Nothing in 08?
Yeah.
08?
You won an award in 08.
I don't even remember what I won in 08.
What did he win, Johnny?
So we were doing some research and I see.
No, wait. Hold on. So Johnny's about to
You said
Johnny's
So
about to put a
08,
big fit in
it
his
said
mouth.
you won Hispanic Male of the Year.
Oh.
Because my boy thought you were white.
Oh.
No, did not think he was white.
I mean, I think all awards are silly, but like the Grammys, like that's so subjective. Like this of the year, it's all subjective.
What do you define now from when you started as an influencer to what an influencer is now?
An influencer now is just anybody who is getting consistent attention. That is an influencer. If you have one viral video or two viral videos or whatever, you're not an influencer. But if you get consistent attention, you're an influencer. And there's micro influencers as well. I hope my children don't want to be influencers, though. I would advise everybody against it. Just for many reasons. Like one, I don't believe most people are cut out for it. Like they don't have the work ethic because like anything in life, at first, like if you stumble upon success as an influencer, it's going to be easy. But to sustain success, you will not be able to sustain success without an incredible work ethic. And I don't think most people are willing to put in all of that. And it's hard. You know, I look at it now, like even some TikTokers, like the shelf life of an influencer now also keeps getting shorter and shorter. Like when I was hot, I had a fucking long ass run. I'm not hot anymore. I'm objective, but I'm an icon. Don't get it twisted. I'm not hot, but I'm an icon. But when I was hot for a long ass time. Now these TikTokers or whatever it is, they're hot for maybe like a year, 2 years, and then it's over. And then what happens is then like some of these girls that were hot on TikTok in 2020, and now their videos are not getting views, they're not getting brand deals. They are creating OnlyFans. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to judge. I don't want my daughters on OnlyFans creating OnlyFans content. So like, you know, it's so hard to maintain, and it's hard to keep people's attention for all this time.
Especially when you keep doing the same thing over and over.
Exactly, without reinventing, and the algorithm changes. And like, I mean, like, look at YouTube. In 2010 or 2012, YouTube was ginormous. And if you look back on like the top, I guarantee if you pause this and you go and you look up the top YouTubers of 2013, 10 years ago.
And not here.
None of them except for PewDiePie. He's like the only one. All of the other ones, gone. They're not even relevant on Instagram or anything. Like it's so hard to sustain and to maintain. That's why I just always knew I've got to do everything and say yes to everything. I can't be one thing. That's why I've written books. I started a podcast before everybody had a podcast.
Nice.
I've done a lot of acting. I've done film, TV, stage. Like I'm open to the universe. Like in Vegas, like I moved here to be personally happier, but I also think that this could be good for my career. Like, who knows what I could do in Vegas? Like, it's a world full of possibility here.
I agree. There's a term for it. It's called blue water marketing. A lot of people do red water marketing, like when a shark attacks, the blood gets water, and that's what everybody does, right? Nobody goes to the blue waters and chases something that nobody else is doing. That's where the longevity is. That's where the secrets are.
No, I also think that when you said the YouTubers are not here, I think is because when you become an influencer, you kind of have to pretend this person that you're not. And it's so not genuine to yourself that it becomes so tired, right? Becomes so tired that eventually you just like, this is not me. And I think for you, something that has helped you is that you said earlier that you came true to yourself and you've been yourself, even, you know.
Well, and thankfully, like I'm very objective. Like I don't have fans. I mean, I might have some, but at the end of the day, I am providing a service for people. I am giving them information and entertainment. I know it's not about me. It's about what I can give others, how I can be of use for them. The celebrities keep me relevant.
What's something that may not have come out or is coming out soon? You know, this podcast is delayed by about a week. Can you give us something juicy?
I like that. That's a good one, Sosa.
I'm not sitting on anything.
No?
Gosh.
We'll delay it. We'll go second. We'll go second. I promise you that.
No.
Should have Rihanna get paid $20 million for the...
I mean, the only thing that I can think of is just like some real insider Vegas stuff, but I couldn't reveal that anyways because I don't want to burn a bridge.
Good thinking. You know, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Very refreshing. If you want to, you know, let our audience know what you got going on or what to look forward to, please feel free, where to follow and all that stuff.
Well, I have my own podcast. You can listen at perezpodcast.com. That's perezpodcast.com. And I'm all over social media and my website still. Thank God it's able to provide for my family, perezhilton.com. Visit it. click some ads.
I'll click some ads.
Yeah, man. And yeah, I'm just so happy to be here and be here.
Got
You're
great
pre-
TikToks. Go follow him on TikTok. It's
Yeah.
one of my favorite accounts.
I'll probably get banned again. My TikTok gets banned like every 3 months because I'm not supposed to be on there.
I'm gonna buy your
Oh.
books for the collection. Put them up
Aw,
here.
thank
Interesting.
you.
Also, just to throw it in there, like I know you had a Perez recommendation segment, but like if Perez had to pick like his favorites in Vegas, like just go like restaurant wise, like give us
Bizarre.
boom. Okay,
Bizarre
cool.
Meats?
That was too easy. Like
Right.
We need another
The
one.
chef comes here.
Jose Andres?
No.
Oh,
The
that fool ain't got no
executive.
hair.
The executive chef.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
okay. What? Okay.
Candace Ochoa. I'll tell her name. I'll say her name.
Favorite Smith show you've seen at the Smith Center?
I've only seen one, but I would like to
Oh.
go see more. Yeah, I went to go see Kristen Chenoweth there for New Year's Eve a year ago. And that was lovely. I love her.
Well, since you love Broadway, I think we got to make you a Smith Center member and blow it up.
Do you work there?
No, but I got connects. with
He cleans the bathroom.
She's like, line it up.
No, but we can get you. Yeah.
No, I would love to go see more there. I love theater. I love all shows.
Nice. Well, again, we appreciate you and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace, love, and happiness.